that will probably happen to Earth at some point.
Something strange happened when Elon Musk sat down with Joe Rogan. It wasn't just another conversation. It was a moment that left Rogan speechless, caught between fascination and disbelief.
It's a matter of time before we get hit by an asteroid, or maybe we annihilate ourselves with nuclear war.
Elon, as always, spoke with an unsettling confidence, revealing details that most wouldn't dare to say out loud. Was it a glimpse into the future or a warning?
What's next? Like, now that you can do that, you can catch rockets, what's like the ultimate expression of rocket technology? Like, what comes after this?
Well, the fundamental breakthrough we're aiming for at SpaceX is a fully and rapidly reusable orbital rocket, where both stages are fully and rapidly reusable. With our Falcon rocket, we are able to reuse the main stage and the nose cone, but we're not able to reuse the upper stage. And it still takes us at least a few days from when the main stage lands to when we can fly it again. So it's not fully reusable because we lose the upper stage, which costs $10 million to build, and then the main stage, it's not as reusable as like an aircraft. You can't just like refuel it and fly. It requires work for a couple days. But the Starship design is the first design that is capable of full and rapid reusability, where that is one of the possible outcomes. And once you have full and rapid reusability, the cost of access to space drops by a factor of 100. It's like 100 times cheaper. By some metrics, it's 1,000 times cheaper. And then when you factor in orbital refilling, so you refill on orbit, it can drop the cost per ton to the surface of Mars by a factor of 10,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what has to improve in order to make it reusable?
We need there's some, like, we're pretty close to being able to rapidly reuse the booster for Starship. That's why it comes back and gets caught by the arms, and then the arms place it back in the launch mount. So now there's still we have a little bit of engine damage. We got a little bit of heat shield damage. There's tweaks that are needed, but we're pretty close to achieving full and rapid reusability of the booster. The ship, I think we'll achieve reusability of the ship this year, and I think we'll achieve rapid reusability of the whole stack, ship and booster, next year. This is the fundamental breakthrough required for life to become multiplanetary. There's a sort of age-old debate in history, is history determined by these fundamental tides, or is it determined by the captain of the ship? Mm-hmm. This is both, really. There are tides, but it also matters who's captain of the ship. So it's a false dichotomy, essentially. There are certainly tides. The tides of history there are real tides of history, and these tides are often technologically driven. If you say, like, the Gutenberg press, the widespread availability of books as a result of a printing press, that was a massive tide of history, independent of any ruler. But in stormy times, you want the best possible captain of the ship. In terms of dating civilization, the start of civilization, I think the start of writing, in my view, that's what I think is probably the right starting point to date civilization. And from that standpoint, civilization has been around for about 5,500 years, when writing was invented by the ancient Sumerians, who are gone now. But the ancient Sumerians, in terms of getting a lot of firsts, those ancient Sumerians really have a long list of firsts. It's pretty wild. In fact, Durant goes through the list. It's like, you want to see firsts? We'll show you firsts. The Sumerians were just ass kickers. And then the Egyptians, who were right next door, relatively speaking, weren't that far, developed an entirely different form of writing, the hieroglyphics. Cuneiform and hieroglyphics are totally different. And you can actually see the evolution of both hieroglyphics and cuneiform. Like the cuneiform starts off being very simple, and then it gets more complicated, and then towards the end it's like, wow, okay, they really get very sophisticated with the cuneiform. So I think of civilization as being about 5,000 years old. And Earth is, if physics is correct, 4.5 billion years old. So civilization has been around for 1/1,000,000th of Earth's existence. Flash in the pan. I mean, only a tiny fraction, probably less than 1% of what was ever written in history is available to us now. I mean, if they didn't literally chisel it in stone or put it in a clay tablet, we don't have it. Yeah. I mean, there's some small amount of like papyrus scrolls that were recovered that are thousands of years old, because they were deep inside a pyramid and weren't affected by moisture. But other than that, it's really got to be in a clay tablet or chiseled. So the vast majority of stuff was not chiseled, because it takes a while to chisel things. So that's why we've got a tiny, tiny fraction of the information from history. But even that little information that we do have, and the archaeological record shows so many civilizations rising and falling.
It's not going in a unitary direction. I think there are certain aspects of the West that are going in a horrifically bad direction horrifically quickly. But there are elements in the West where things are going in a much healthier and better direction. So I don't think the West as a whole moves like some big hulking mass. I think there's trends, and it's a question of which will win out. And my operating assumption, which I think is impossible to argue with, is reality always wins. And that a worldview which comports to reality, which means based on truth, because that's what truth is, that which is real, will in the long term succeed. But how long that long term is the question on the table. And it's certainly going to be a lot of bad things, to put it mildly, in the interim, and are currently happening.
It would be a new frontier and an opportunity to rethink the whole nature of government, just as was done in the creation of the United States. Having direct democracy, like people vote directly on things, as opposed to representative democracy. So representative democracy, I think, is too subject to special interests and a coercion of the politicians and that kind of thing. So I'd recommend that there's just direct democracy. People vote on laws, the population votes on laws themselves, and then the laws must be short enough that people can understand them. No, I think the rate of change, the change caused by AI is going to be pretty radical. So there will, a lot of jobs that currently exist won't exist in the future. But I think there will be new jobs, and I do think, like in a benign AI scenario, we will really have an age of abundance. I think really goods and services, unless they're artificially made scarce, like it's specialized artwork, or you want that particular house in that neighborhood, like it has to be an artificial scarcity. But anything that is not made artificially scarce will be plentiful, as in a benign AI scenario. You'll be able to have any products and services you want.
AI becomes a lot more complicated then. It's not just like how regular people down on the bottom levels react to it. It's also like, why is the government and these other entities giving so much power to AI technology that isn't proven and isn't vetted? There's a lot of overhype in AI. We also know that there's accuracy issues with AI. There's a thing, for example, called like AI hallucinations, where it like returns output that just doesn't exist. And then you have people like Kissinger and Schmidt in their book argue that what AI is seeing in those cases is a different reality that just humans can't see, that we should trust. And the AI's delusions essentially and have that supersede our own perception of reality, because AI is so much smarter than I mean, that's madness. That's like a collective delusion. The problem is when you have it like doing facial recognition for law enforcement, or the accountability thing is another big thing, because it's basically like the analogy I use for this is like the Wizard of Oz, you know, like AI is the ultimate Wizard of Oz for the ruling class. Like they can just literally do whatever they want and say, oh, well, we're just doing what the AI algo said, and it's so smart, and it can't, this is in the Schmidt-Kissinger book too, it's so smart, it can't explain itself. We just have to do what it says, because it's so smart. Because, I mean, if it can't explain itself, it can't justify its actions, and everyone has to essentially, through blind faith and some sort of like religious like devotion, believe that it's smarter without proof, because it's being hyped as that, you know, and just basically outsource how we perceive reality and events to like algorithms being designed by these Silicon Valley crazy people.
You know, there's some things which sound like a blessing, but may in fact be a curse.
Yeah.
Like I think you will live forever. It sounds like a blessing. It's actually a curse. You would not want to live forever. You don't know how long forever is. And if you say another potential curse is you can have anything you want effortlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you want that?
Yeah.
Does anything matter at that point?
Yeah.
Actually, the most likely outcome for artificial intelligence is that it is good, that it will improve our lives, most likely. But there's some chance that it will not, and I think we just need to be cognizant of that and understand that it's a powerful technology, it's a double-edged sword, and we need to put a lot of effort into ensuring that we have a good AI outcome and not a bad one. So I think we should take this seriously, and we should have a regulatory agency. I think it needs to start with a group that initially seeks insight into AI, then solicits opinion from industry, and then has proposed rulemaking, and then those rules, you know, will probably, hopefully, grudgingly be accepted by the major players in AI, and I think we'll have a better chance of advanced AI being beneficial to humanity in that circumstance.